everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Another beautiful evening, afternoon to be spent with you, along with two wonderful leaders. So, I would talk about Sandhya. She's been uh, L&D head for a multinational company. However, more than that, the way she has done her extreme work in terms of people's development, their transformation, and bringing that change into their life, I can see she is one of the icon in terms of learning and development and sharing her wisdom, coaching, everything with and across the people across the world, being a global head for learning and development. When I talk about Dr. Gautam, we call him Dr.D, and he has been with Navi Mumbai Chamber of Commerce. I mean, he's a chairman for that, Navi Mumbai Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and of course, the chairman for India Coaching Federation. Apart from that, Dr. Gautam has been with multinational companies. They have created change in terms of the economy across the globe, be it Pepsi, Unilever, Motorola, or Hindustan Liver, or in terms of Supermax, Alcodri, all of them. For me, he's a man who sold his Ferrari. He is somebody who has seen the epitome of corporate, and now following his passion, that is transformation mission of people. So, I will not take much of a time. Today, we have a very, very interesting topic, that is quiet quitting. It is creating a lot of buzz across the globe in corporate sector. When I talk about quiet quitting, it puts me into question. Bharti, what is that you want to do? You want to be a task oriented person, or you want to go ahead in life with the vision? I will not talk much about it when I have two great leaders sitting in front of me and in front of all of us. Let me ask and speak to them with their wonderful input and, of course, wisdom on the subject. So, the very first question to you, Sandhya, because you are one of the person who can really talk about it, seeing the globe right now, right here. If I want to ask you, what is that your understanding when I talk about quitting or quiet quitting?
Yeah, thank you, Bharti. And I guess there are two things to it. One, the entire pandemic, and then the great resignation that we saw across the world. And I think the quiet quitting is somewhere they're all connected in terms of a cascading effect of the pandemic, the great resignation, and then you have quiet quitting. And I think there is a lot of non I guess there's a lot of information which is not transpired well across. Quiet quitting is not about quitting, as we all know. They stay, and as somebody said, right, it is easy to manage people who quit and go, but it's very difficult to manage people who quit and stay. And
True.
quiet quitting is a phenomena which, at this moment, seems to like it may snowball, though it is still in its, I won't say emerging phase, but yes, across the world, there's quite a few, number of cases, and I think there are a lot of TikTok videos which are on currently, which talks about it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Sandhya. And Dr. D, even I want few words from you on the topic.
I think, Bharti, it's a really great topic to talk and discuss. Of course, there is as Sandhya was sharing, it's a big buzz from TikTok and all social media where around 16 millions, hashtag follower was there, and they were talking about this quiet quitting. And it started with great resignation in USA where around 3 million people has resigned over a period of time post COVID and during the COVID. And that's why this the concept or this the name get highlighted. And of course, we will talk about what is quiet quitting. But I think from my perspective, when I see the quiet quitting, it is a new name with a old behavior in the organization relating to how to manage people and how a superior subordinate relationship should be get established in managing and keeping the people. And if you are not able to manage and keep the people on a proper way, people will quit quietly. And that is the whole concept of this quiet quitting. Yes, it has started with the concept that people are not ready to, or people are not willing to put extra effort. And there is a reason for that, Bharti. You need to understand the Maslow's need theory, which is still relevant, but the two last bottom levels are no more relevant. The safety and survivals are no more the need of any individual, even in a country like India. Like, when we talk about top 40, 30 cities in India, yes, these two levels are not relevant. Employees get motivated with the three top level where you have love and belongingness, self-actualization, self-esteem, and self-realization. If these three levels are not available for them in the organization, in the role, in the environment, in spite of having a tough fight and procession, they better feel quite quitting. And that we need to be taking care of at the corporate level and at the individual level also, how we can able to resolve these challenges and help people to get attached with the work they do, the organization they are associated with, because there is a huge cost and turmoil. Keeping the peak performers, very great challenge for the organization. Keeping the average people who are neutral, the 60-70% people, of course, there are people around 5 to 10% who are ready to quit anytime. There are top 10% people who are satisfied, happy, willing to put extra efforts. They are peak performer and they are the future leader of your organization. So how you are going to keep them? And in between the 60-70% who are neutral, who can go in any direction. That is the mass. And this is the real challenge, how you are going to manage your overall human resource through a proper learning, coaching, training, empowering, how to create an environment. All those things are very important as far quite quitting is concerned.
Thank you, Dr. D. So the another thought, once you were talking about 60 to 70% mass, the another thought which came in my mind is in this 60 to 70% sadhana, millennials they found their place there, because top management somewhere they cross that age. And for example, I'm a half century person, so more than 50. So I know the kind of a work culture, having the vision and the purpose in mind, and then just going behind and managing tasks also at the same time. So we had a different thought process. Now if we talk about youngster, and especially after pandemic, the thought has come that let me follow my JD. Whatever has been given, I will do. Now, at the same time, they're looking for promotion and growth. Now, if I perform as per the JD and you are my boss, and I ask you, Sandhya, I deserve a promotion, you will simply tell me, Bharti, what extra you have done. You have just done what has been expected from you as per the job description. So, how is this particular thing to be taken so that quiet quitting at one place and my growth, my promotion, my organizational growth, that is at the different level. So how do we merge and how do we in sync this, Sandhya?
Sure. I think there are two ends of a spectrum. One is discretionary efforts, because I would say traditionally promotions were based on discretionary efforts, or not just what you were assigned, how you did it, and to how much extent were you able to push the envelope in terms of
Absolutely.
getting that stuff done, and how beautifully you did it. You managed cost, you had green shoots, which is what promotions are all about. And on the other hand, it is also about the millennials talking about, but I did what I was expected to do. So it is a balancing act, and I think it is also about expectation management. So if the purpose of the person and the job are aligned, and as we all know, right, people don't, whether it's quiet quitting or other quitting, a lot has to do with the manager. So people don't leave organizations, they leave the manager or the culture of the organization. If our managers are able to manage better, I think engagement, and Dr. Gautam did allude to it, that how do you connect with your team? And the pandemic actually had this, hindrance there, where people were not able to meet or be in touch. So the only way was virtual, and when you are connecting virtually, it was more a curt way of connecting, that this is your task, this is what you will do. And there were tools, various technology tools, to actually measure how long you were on the system, how long did you work, right? So every time there is a challenge thrown at us, we resort to technology. But the human element is what is very important. And even a promotion, I'm sure, if there are no surprises, whether we're talking about millennials or Gen X, Gen Y, or baby boomers, if they are made aware that they don't stack up for the promotion, and these are the reasons, rather than not confronting those and avoiding them, I think people will quit because they don't see a reason to stay. That is very important. The other aspect is, if people are quite quitting, there is also important that how much are you making the job relevant for them? Are you checking with your teams? Are you connecting with your teams? And I come back to the same thing. The best leaders or the best managers are the folks who exactly know who are the folks in their teams who are disengaged or they are not connected. So it is all about human emotions at this point of time and connections. Though the generations do have a value system. Like if you see the statistics, the baby boomers, when they were asked the question that how much work should you do beyond what is expected out of you, 82% said you should, whereas the millennials, only 50% of them responded that you should do work which is over and above. And if you see on the other end, the question was, do you think there is a need to do more work? Most of the millennials said no. Almost 65% of some of them responded that we don't need to do over and above. We only need to do the work we are expected to do. So I think it is also about the instant gratification, the instant values that our new generation has, that they really immediately want to see an outcome, which may not be in career management, in how your roles transpire over a period of time. So I think a long answer to that question. It
Right.
is a very difficult balancing act which corporates need to do at this point of time.
So I wanted to ask a difficult question to a learned lady. Thank you, Sandhya. You want to add something, Dr. D?
I think Sandhya was touching most of the point here, and at India Coaching Federation we did a research, and we did a research for Fortune 500 company, and the surprising data you will see, Bharti, that the average age of the C-level executives in Fortune 500 company is 57 year, 55 to 57 years. And the average age of workforce in Fortune 500 company in India, I'm not talking about America and Europe, in India is 32 years. So there is a double gap. So the average age of the leaders who are managing the organization and function, they are almost equal to the double age of the average age of the people who are doing your work. So there is a huge gap. The concept which was holding good at our time, those days, is not holding good now. And I will give you an example. When I was working with Unilever and when I was the finance manager only that time, our general manager, factory general manager, used to switch off the main switch of the office at 6:30. And
Okay.
it was said that, work-life balance has to be there, so you are not allowed to work extra. So 6:30, 5:30 was the official time, but up to 6:30 you can sit, after that you cannot sit. On the same day, on the same period, when I used to have a conversation with my boss, he has shared a very strange research with me. And that research says if you work for 8 hours in a day, you have to work for entire of your life. If you work for 10 to 12 hours in a day, you have to work till you retire, 60 years of your age. But if you work for 15 to 18 hours, 15 hours plus in a day, you can retire after 40 years. So this is two contradictory things are available in the public domain, and these data are all coming from somewhere, research done by peoples in the corporate and organization around the world. But the key point is that both is good. I don't say that those data and research are wrong. But the key point, what Sandhya was mentioned, engaging your passion with the work. How peoples are connected through their passion and their work, whether their work is their passion or not. See, nowadays, most of the work has become mechanical. Like, creativity at the workplace has been reduced to bare minimum. Big ERP systems are implemented, all the artificial intelligence, machine learning, most of the automations are happened. So your personal creativity through your passion to connect with your job is getting reduced and reduced and reduced a lot, especially in a bigger organization where great automation is there. There you have very less opportunity. Like, I remember I started as a finance manager where the accounting used to be manual. And then now everywhere you cannot even think of accounting doing manual with the next current generation people. The day they have been taking into become a stage, they know that either the ERP system like SAP, Oracle is there, or not even though there is at least Tally is there. So, and this is holds good for all function. So when we used to use our manual capability to create reports and MIS system, we used to read a lot of things, the basic data. What are the basic data are required to better decision making of the organization in particular areas, function, market, product, SKU, and different kind of level. Here, nowadays, all the data comes automatically from the system, which is already a predefined. So you don't require to do your any efforts. You don't require to put your brain. You just take out the data and you put it to the management, or management has themselves the capability to pull out the data. They have been trained in there. So I'm giving one example. There are millions of examples like this. So creating or becoming creative at the work level has reduced a lot. One. The second thing is that because of automation, it is mostly task driven. You have to perform certain input and output every day. And that work becomes mechanical. Irrespective of the function and organization, whether you are working in a HR function or a finance function or a marketing function or a production line, doesn't matter. If your performance is directly relating to input output ratio, which has the higher measurability, keeping motivated to be productive for a longer hour is always difficult. And hence, peoples are getting bored No one wants to put extra effort to do the same boring job for 2 more hours just to uh, fulfill the KPI or the target of the department or the organization, knowing that for this city job they are not going to get promotion or increment because everybody is doing like that. You are not the only person. If the 15% there in department, all 15s are forced to do. But if you have to do so your creativity, you are pursuing your passion, you have the opportunity to produce beautiful result in the organization. You have to opportunity to influence the people in the organization, and then you have the opportunity to grow in the organization by providing better results, system, process, people, and all transformation. This is one of the big challenge nowadays. It is happening, and there is a solution which I think we will be sharing after completing the question. The another thing which I was saying that when you see the research data, and this research is not from ICA but it is from US Harvard did the research, and as I was saying that is this quiet quitting is the new phenomenon or the same old phenomenon in a different name. So they have observed that it is the same old phenomenon with a different name and different brand, with attaching it with the pandemic, what happened in corona and covid and all those things. Yes, there is some relating to that, and they are able to do a 360 appraisal for the managers in the organization to understand this quiet quitting concept. The bottom performer, who are the least 10%, where the subordinates are not happy with the boss. Sandhya was also talking about the boss
Manager.
employee relationship and all that. So they were saying that where the top only 10% of the subordinates are happy with the boss, even the quiet quitting ratio is not very high at to that performance level. It is just 10 to 15%. When they are 50% and less subordinates are happy with the employee, their quiet quitting is also 5%. And even the top performance up to 90% where employees are happy with the boss, there also quiet quitting is there for 3 to 4%. The delta, the big impact is coming in the neutral part. The subordinate who are up to 50% happy with their boss, the quiet quitting is only 5%. The neutral part is 65%, and only 35% are willing to put extra effort for the organization, for the team.
Hmm. Hmm.
Where the subordinates are happy and with their boss 90% and plus, quiet quitting is 3% again.
Yes.
The neutral part is only 30%.
Hmm.
65% of the subordinates are ready to put extra efforts. So
Wonderful.
this
That is great.
capability, yes, is the big difference which is going to create, and this is the big challenge for the organization, how to transform this and create a better mechanism where through that they should be able to take. Of course, this is a trigger to start thinking about the quiet quitting. Earlier days, there used to be associations and there used to be the employee associations in PSU. Also happens now also, but in private corporates now associations and unions are not allowed, so you cannot fight. So you have only option to go for quiet quitting. So
Thank you,
that's
Dr.
what I
D.
think. Yeah.
So I like one thing always. I mean, whenever I am ready with the question, you are ready with uh, the data. It is always there with you, and this is the one most wonderful thing I enjoy because then we have a very concrete ground. So another question to you, Sandhya. Uh, See, It is about passion, following our passion. And once I love my job, I'm passionate about what I'm doing. It does not make a difference how many hours I'm giving. It gives me so much pleasure. And I have seen your profile, and I have seen that you have done a lot of work in terms of disability leadership and people who are physically or physically disabled. You have done a lot of work there. So I'm merging two questions at one. One is, how is that coaching can play a role in terms of getting rid of, not the full extent, but at least to some extent, getting rid of this quiet quitting. And number two, how is the impact on these people? They're your special kids, I should say, because I know the kind of love and compassion is required with such special people. So how is that going to affect even them? So it is like I'm asking about how coaching can help both the people.
Yeah, I think coaching is one of the very important areas, or maybe it's the elixir which everybody should actually, manifest as treatment for everyone. Because unfortunately, we feel coaching cannot be done by everyone. But I guess we also need to be aware that just spending time with someone and figuring out what they need in terms of their career, whether it is personal or professional. And that's where, spending time with your teams, and hence psychological safety building in the teams has become such an important aspect of, all organizations. In fact, if you see the biggest ask for the next 5 years, post pandemic, which is how do you build future workforce, and what are the main qualities required in a leader. Building psychological safety in teams comes out as paramount, and which is connected to coaching, because you cannot build psychological safety unless you possibly
Absolutely.
have created an environment where you spend time with them, you have one-on-one connects with them, where you're not just advising them, but you're actually listening to them and figuring out what are their passion, what are the things that they like about the work, what they don't like about the work, where is an opportunity for you to course correct their job profiles itself. A lot of quiet quitting, just connecting it back, can be taken away if we figure out if somebody is apt for the role that they are playing, or they've outgrown the role. A lot of times organizations do not realize that maybe the person has outgrown or is showing qualities which are much more and can be used somewhere else in other part of the organization, because there's no point losing an employee to an competitor where you could have managed the career within
Absolutely.
the organization. So that is a very important aspect of managing, with coaching, and it is a crucial element. In fact, if you see, that's the other big opportunity and ask for all leaders: mentoring and coaching. Because that's what the pandemic allowed us to understand. And it's not just folks who are digitals or millennials. The pandemic really made all of us reflect, think back, and question the real modalities of life itself. All of us have gone through those turbulence within ourselves when we went through the mental fog, the non-ending isolations that all of us went through. So it is a must have for everyone. So somebody needed counseling, someone needs coaching, whereas the intent is, it is a crucial aspect. In fact, the coaching business has seen almost 75% increase in the last 2.5 years. The number of people registering for coaching programs has increased, which itself is enough data. And I'm sure Dr. Gautam has more data to share with about the number of increase in the coaching certifications, training, as well as managers and organizations getting themselves equipped with either coaches within, or going reaching out to organizations like ICF and all of them. The other question was people with disabilities, right? Now this, I think people with disabilities manage the pandemic much better
But
than all
I
of us.
wanted to hear this.
Yes, because they were used to being following. I mean, they're mentally prepared for a lot of things as against all of us. And I call us the privileged lot, because we are privileged and we
Yes.
do not recognize the privileges we have. And people with disabilities, they possibly were more attuned, more ready to manage what we all went through, because they said we've gone through challenges like this all our life, and hence they were mentally more prepared. That is one. It is also, they also needed coaching, and it is very important for them. But I guess more important is to coach the managers who work with them as against coaching them, because the biggest ask from people with disabilities in my career has been that please do not treat us differently. Treat us
Absolutely, yes.
as one amongst us and one amongst your team member, because that's what we try to do. We try to differentiate them, we try to make them feel that you're differently able. The biggest ask is just treat us on par, so that we do not stand out, because they want to be part of the team, they want to be included rather than secluded and made to feel you are different category, we need to take care of you differently. So coaching for the managers, more importantly, as against coaching them, though they also need coaching more so to integrate rather than disintegrate from the teams.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sandhya. What a insightful uh, discussion and your input. So, Dr. D, would you say something in just 5 minutes that how coaching can, you know, help this particular phenomena called quiet quitting?
I think very well answered by Sandhya. See, one of the biggest challenge for the people uh, nowadays when you creating successful organization for next 5 to 10 year or 15 years. When we talk about India, we talk about next 20 years. So, because India is going to be the third largest economy in next 20 years, so we have to be more responsible. And I think the coaching is the only solution. And why? I would like to say you that coaching is all about people transformation. It is not training. When you provide training, you either embed some skill or competency to the people. So nowadays, skills and competencies are already with the people. The education level has been enhanced a lot, and people are getting technically qualified and then coming to the organization. The days has gone that you are not having competent people in India. So I think we are providing the workforce to the globe, not only in our country. So we have technically sound people in almost all areas of functions and areas of the life. Only thing is that we are not able to integrate our life, job, career, business, and relationship all together. Human being is only one. You are the only person. You have to play different role in an organization. You are a manager or a employee or you are having your career. In home, you are managing your relationship. As a person, you have to manage your life. And of course, the organization you are working, you have to manage their business to grow. So here the problem starts for the people. They are not able to play a different role at different side, or they are so disintegrated in playing the role, they become like actor.
Mm, true.
So we should not be becoming an actor in ourselves. We have to be integrating our all the 3 4 roles in one. I called oneness. And unless you discover your oneness, it is very difficult to discover your passion. And unless you discover your passion, you will not able to create a future career which is fulfilling and satisfying. Getting a job, being in the job, earning money is a totally different thing. And creating a passion and attracting money in abundance is totally different thing. If your focus is in earning money, then you are doing job, whether you are doing for some other organization or you are doing for your own company. But when you are pursuing your passion, whatever you do, you have fulfillment and satisfaction. And then time disappears. There is no time for that. And when you become professional in your passion, you create a meaningful career for you. And when your passion, career, and you get integrated, it become one. So you don't require to play a different role for your life, for your business organization, and for your career. And there the concept of quitting disappears. And the only way it can be helped by the proper coaching, because we in a coaching process we help people to transform their personality, to understand their real who they are, and by discovering their oneself they are able to discover their passion and have the possibility to create future career. So this is the one of the greatest way, like the things can work in the organization. And Sandhya has shared a lot of points. And it is not necessary that you should having always an external coach. Your own employee, the senior people and managers can be trained to become a coach and mentors for the organization, and they will be more effective. And at our India Coaching Federation, we are working with a couple of organizations to create a set of mentorship in their own team, so that they should be able to guide their people, because they are the people who know better their work. So
Absolutely.
they can be a better mentor and coach as far their work is concerned. The second and third thing, without taking much of time, I would like to say just a food of thought. We are discussing quiet quitting with the concept of career. But there is a very big challenge of quiet quitting in our life and quiet quitting in our relationship. The data and research says, Bharti, 18 lakhs people dies in India every year from heart attack. And 45% of that are the quiet. They doesn't know, the person who is dying, they doesn't know that they are going to die tomorrow or now. And now you can go in any Indian news channel, you can open the news and you can see the doctor and the Hanumanji and the other persons news is coming. While doing the show, singing and dancing, they died. So there is a big challenge of quiet quitting in your life. And it is says that in next 20 years, around 2 crores people in India will be dying because of the heart attack every year. You can imagine whole the population of Delhi is going to disappear every year. If we are not going to take care of ourselves, we are going to be quite quitting in our life. Similarly, quite quitting in relationship, there's a Times of India research says the separation and divorce cases are increasing by 40% every year on year in India. That has to be taken care of. So quiet quitting is very important to be taken care of at the corporate level in career. But we should never forget that the people who are working in the corporate are individual and are relationship of somebody or are related with somebody. They also have a family to love and take care of. So they are quiet quitting in their life, in their relationship and in their career has to be taken together. It cannot be taken only at the career level. If you take care of at the career level, and if your employee is going to be part of the 2 crores people who are going to lose their life, still you will be a loser. So we need to be taking care of, and I think a proper coaching process, as I say that coaching is all about people transformation. It is multidimensional. It gives a 360 impact. Whatever you coach and transform the people, they are going to create the impact in their life, career, business, and relationship all. So, better coaching processes helps employee to take care of all this. But it starts with self-awareness. Unless you are having self-awareness, you cannot create engagement in your employees and your team. You cannot increase the efficiency of your yourself and team. You doesn't know how to manage your time for your team and all that. How you can do a better performance, how smoother career progression you can define for yourself and your team, how better you can take care of the management issues and performance challenges in your organization, how effectively you can become a manager and a leader in the organization, how effectively you can manage the stress, how you can build up your self-confidence and empower others to become their self-aware of, how you can acquire new skill which is required to manage your life and career with job, how you can have improved relationship, how you can increase your creativity, how better you can connect socially, how better you can purposeful you can create purpose in your life and work, and how you can build control and resilience. These are all important parts has to be taken care of while addressing the challenges of the people. Yes, we might start doing with quiet quitting, but we need to be taking care of the employee as a whole, as a human being, as an individual. That's all I would like to say, Bharti, at this stage.
Thank you, Dr. D. And I loved listening to quiet quitting towards relationship, life, family. I mean, I can relate to it with really, really at a deeper level. I enjoyed listening to this particular part of it. And viewers, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to tell you that to whom you were talking with. So let me first talk about myself. This is your host, Bharti Chauhan, Director, India Coaching Federation, and the most eminent speaker you were listening to, who has given lot of value to this talk, was rather is Sandhya, who is a global L&D head for IKS Health, and she has done tremendous work in terms of uh, disability or differently able leadership programs, and she has done remarkable job there for everybody, but there, there is something different. And Dr. D, you all know about him. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful 40 minutes with all of you, especially with you, Sandhya. Thank you so much. And Dr. D, thanks a lot, and stay
Thank you.
blessed
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
so much.
Thank you.